Computer. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, we are recording. Beautiful. All right, so guys, how was that experience using Padlet? Have you used Padlet before? Nope. And
No.
it's a quick, easy way to get information, to create dialogue in class. Um, and you get to see everybody's thoughts and idea as they move through the process, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let me share my screen so we get back on track. Okay, what is this? Share. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, so did you guys are familiar with Apple? You kind of understand internal, external, but what resources, because when you look at Apple, sometimes their resources have to come from somewhere else. Do you guys have any idea where that resource is coming from to build out these products, these smartphones? Is that something
Investors.
internal or external?
Investors, right? They come from investors. Is that right?
You got investors, okay, which is you have external investors, you have internal also investors, but there's something that's critical for Apple to survive.
I mean, are you talking about offshoring and manufacturing and other supports or
Customers.
suppliers?
Yes, perfect. You hit it right on the money. So suppliers, the chip is an external source that they kind of outsource overseas. So when you think about your business, you want to look at what key resources that you have that can get things up and running quickly. Okay, and that's something that you want to present to your students early in the game plan, because sometimes they say, "Oh, I can do this," but then when they really have to look at the resource, well, do you have the skill set to? Sometimes skill set could be an internal resource. Have the ability to code is internal. If you don't have the ability to code, then you have to get that external help from somewhere else to make it a reality. Okay, so key resources can be physical, it could be intellectual, human or financial resource that allow the entrepreneur to create a value proposition that reaches their market. Okay, and I think that hits right on target. Is there any key resources that you guys have that you might need for your business moving forward? Just
Yeah,
if you,
yeah, sure. Yeah, Ray, I got a question along those lines. Regarding our competition, are we allowed to go ahead and tap those key resources? Like if we know someone that does a particular type of coding,
yeah,
and they don't have to be a student, or they have to be students normally,
they
or
don't
a
they don't have
professor.
to. They don't have to. And that's the beautiful thing. When Sami, I'm gonna share Samia's presentation to you guys. This is one of my students. She actually pitched 2 nights ago and she came in first place, walked over with $9,000. But I'm gonna share her pitch and you get to see what she did. And she outsourced most of that work. She's not When she started that concept, she had no idea about coding. But she got on Fiverr, she connected, she communicate. That tells a lot about an entrepreneur, because sometimes an entrepreneur is about navigating. Oh, feedback. Okay. Yeah. So that entrepreneur is about somebody's mic. Let's see here. Hello?
If you got two computers up, I don't know if you do, but if you mute one of them, might help at all. That happened to me too.
Let me see. Might be. Okay. Let's see if everybody's muted. Perfect. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Hmm. I think it's Damien. Maybe we need to mute Damien. Can you hear me now? Perfect. Yeah, Damien. So as an entrepreneur, guys, the key is you can't do it all by yourself. And that's the mindset. Sometimes, oh, I can do it all. But sometimes you need to tap into some key resources that can help you move forward. Okay, and that's what you want to make sure you look at in the beginning of your concept. Okay, any questions so far on the key resource? Pretty straightforward.
And these would be volunteer on a volunteer basis, I guess, right? We're not going to go out and pay anybody to do anything for these projects. It's just we're going to ask for help, volunteer on a competition, basically.
Yeah, you might go out there, you talk to them. Hey, I'm working on a project. What resources can you offer me, and what can you help me out with? Depends. They might cut you a deal. They might say, you know what, I charge this amount. You never know. Sometimes you just got to open that door and just ask those questions, and things happen. So I wanted to just share. We're moving. Oh, we have Damon is coming in. Okay, so right here, so key resources. So let's go back to our PowerPoint right here. Okay, let's go right here. Okay. Okay. Now, financials, guys. These are key elements that in any competition, the judge is going to always ask you these terms. And these terms, sometimes you might not hear the term, might be foreign to your students. But if they ask you, so what's your contribution margin? What's your gross sales? What's the return on investment? These are key. These are the foundation of what goes into your financials. So again, this PowerPoint, I'm going to show you, we always have access to this. If you go back here and we're scrolling down, we are right into, we looked at key resources, and key resource, I didn't want to spend too much time on that because, these are key questions. And when you go into your breakout room, what do you need to get things up and running? How will I obtain these resources? You can answer these questions internally. How will I protect my key resources? Is it an idea? Do I need to get a copyright? Okay. So these are key things that we can always go back to and answer these questions in here. At the same time, I gave you some the slide deck on this, but I wanted to, before we move into the financials, just gonna play this real quick so you get an idea of the key resources.
The next piece you want to think about is, what are the key resources? What do you need to make the business model work? What assets are important? And what's an example of an asset in a key resource? Well, finance. Do you need capital? Do you need a line of credit? Some assets and resources are physical. Do you need physical plant, like a manufacturing line? Do you need specialized machines? Do you need vans and for delivery? Do you need cars? Is there something else you need? Is there intellectual property you need? Is there patents you need to acquire or protect? Do you need to acquire customer lists? Or is it just that you need to get great people, great software programmers in a specific area, or great hardware designers, or great manufacturing people? And then finally, again, the interaction between intellectual and human capital that's another key resource. What specifically do you need to do to keep these people, and who are they?
Okay. Again, that resource is in key resource. As you can see, I think we tapped on it. Depending on your business, you'll be able to identify what key resource you need moving forward. Any questions so far? Was that helpful in clarifying the key resource? Okay, perfect. Now, channels. Now, distribution channels is going to be critical in your business, because this is one of the things the judge might say, hey, so how do you walk me through the process of how you generate a sale? I'm the client. How do I generate a sale in your business? I've seen that question a lot in competition. Oh. So, well, basically we have a brick and mortar business where we have our supply chain. We can actually get our inventory that comes in from here. We sell our products online at an e-commerce platform. So these are key things. Who key partners do you have in place ready to rock and roll? Maybe you have a coder. Maybe you have a supplier that sells you the stuff at a discount price. So these are the key things you want to consider when you start looking at who your vendor is going to be. You're purchasing, what type of materials you're going to purchase. Are you going to go with the first vendor or you're going to have 4 different vendors. What happens if one vendor is out? You got to have another backup plan. So having 2 to 3 vendors that you can refer back to is critical. Okay. Also, you might want to source some of this work out. I do this a lot in my business. I source out a lot of work. You know, one of the key things everybody clients calls, hey, we want to get a direct to garment print. And what that is like they can take a photograph and put it on dark shirts. But to maintain that machine, it's a lot. The machine alone costs about $30,000 to $40,000. And if you're not using the machine constantly, the inks cost maybe about $700 per ink. So there's a guy that loves doing this stuff, and I just outsource it to him. I don't touch it at all. And what he does is he prints it. He gives me a low cost wholesale price, and I just do a little markup, and I make a profit. He even drop shifts the product to the client with my label on it. So outsourcing is a key element, key way you can actually build your business really quick, but you got to find those key people, those key sources. Okay. Purchase and discount, large quantity. Like for example, you might say tier 1 gives you 10 products. Tier 2 gives you 20 products. Okay. The price changes. Okay. Maybe if you're buying in volume, you get a discount. So depending on your business model, these are key things that you can use. Again, we talked about distribution chain, steps to which product flows into in and out your business. Okay. How do people purchase the product? Do they come into your store and buy it? Okay. Is it a hand-to-hand type of business? Okay. Direct channels. Go straight to the customer. Okay. Indirect channel, pathway. So these are terminology. Again, it goes deep into it, markup. What if let me ask you guys a question. I purchased some shirts for 16 bucks. Got it from the wholesale dealer. What should be the markup on that product?
Depends on the market.
Okay, let's say the average market is 25, 20, 30, $20, 30, 40 bucks a shirt. That's pretty high. You're new in the business. How could I make a state? What could my markup be?
At least less than the competition initially to get into the market.
That's good. That is good one. Perfect. What's number 2?
Give some volume incentives so you sell more.
Volume incentives. Okay. Buy 5, get a discount, 10% off. Wonderful. What goes into that markup though?
Manufacturing
All other costs, right?
Manufacturing costs. Okay. You think shipping goes into that cost? Yeah. Shipping goes into that cost. Labor probably goes into that cost. Packaging goes into that cost. Okay. Whatever
advertising, yeah.
Ad you put that in the cost. And the client don't know that. The consumer who's buying the product don't know that they're paying for shipping. They're paying for the packaging. It's all wrapped in there. For example, I just closed a deal today for a church. They ordered some polo shirts. So I had to pay, because I'm a direct dealer with my supplier, I get a discount. I don't pay taxes up front on the products. So I get them for a super low price. Okay. But I still have to pay shipping. So they order 100 pieces. So what I did, shipping was actually about 42 bucks from Alabama to Miami. Okay. 42 bucks. Remember that number. So what I did, each garment, I added $1 for shipping. So I made my shipping plus more. in that price. You see, I can say free shipping all day. Yeah, free shipping, not a problem. The products are then I sold him the products for about $20, $22 a piece. So I made my shipping back. So these are key things. And when you talk about cost structure, we're going to get into the detail of cost structure, and we're going to kind of see how we could get a better understanding of cost structure. Does that little narrative does that help a little bit? So as a business owner, when you go buy a burger, guess what? You want extra cheese? They press that button, 25 cents extra. I want extra lettuce and tomatoes. Cling, cling, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Every time. So beautiful, beautiful to know that. So let's go right over here. Okay. Feel free to stop me if I'm moving fast. So, okay.
No discount for no cheese, though. I'm lactose intolerant. I say no cheese. They don't give any money back.
They sure don't. They sure don't. It comes with it. Even if you order it, no cheese, you still charge it. That's interesting to know. Okay, beautiful. I'm gonna pause here for channels. I think we kind of got the logistics of what channels and how you use channels in your business, in your supply chain. Any questions on that particular section? Okay. Okay, perfect. Now the reason why I want to get into these two real quick, because the money part is where we have to spend a little more time on the money section. Okay. Okay. So in this here, I usually give my kids a chart. Now, I want you to take a look at this chart here. It's called Startup Investment. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to go to this slide, which is the financials. Okay. Right here, perfect. Here it is. So this document, I want you to make sure you download this document a little later. This is a document you're going to work on. You're going to turn this in. Now, I always tell my students, do not cut corners when it comes to what you need to start the business. So, for example, let's see. Jamie, what's your business idea?
Well, I hope you don't get too excited, but it's it's a sponge. It's a cleaning sponge.
Ooh, okay, talk to me. Talk to me. Why? There's a million sponge out there. Why is your sponge so unique?
Well, I don't know if I can give a good sales pitch because it's special because it doesn't mildew. So you don't have to wash it or clean it, and it dries quickly, and it's really effective because it's versatile. You can use it for something. It covers a wide range, so you don't have to scrub as much. You can cover a lot more space with mine versus a little sponge daddy or whatever they call them.
Listen, I love that.
Okay, good.
Oh, that's great, because we run through sponges like crazy in my house, and the kids are like, they use it and it gets a little scrumpy, they want to throw it away.
Oh, good.
And I said, guys, you got to get a little more use out of this sponge. But that is that you mentioned some key things that are your competitive edge. It covers large space. You mentioned that it doesn't mildew or something like that. You mentioned some key component, which is I think it's pretty good. I love it. So my question to you is, what do you need to start your startup expense? What do you need to get this up and running? Do you need a computer? Do you need a designer? Do you need capital? What do you need? I don't know.
A boat.
She needs a boat.
A boat.
For a sponge. I don't know. They're not organic sponges, I guess. Then inorganic.
Inorganic. Yeah, they're synthetic. They're nylon.
Oh, okay. So then you would need materials to purchase. So that would be one of your expenses that you would need. Okay. This is very important. So expenses. Now, this is what you do here. You're going to find out who your vendors or who your resource, we're going to get this product from. You're going to type in materials, maybe fat, sponge or whatever, wherever you're going to get that from. And you're going to find out where you're going to get it and what's the cost. Okay. And then you're going to do the next one. Maybe she needs packaging to package a sponge. So you put that there and you put an estimated cost on that. And this document will help you guys get you understand of what I need to really get things up and running to start this business. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? This is important because I'm going to tell you a quick story. One of my students competed in NFTE in 2009. He placed third. Okay, he came in third place. He did a really great job. But the other presenter had a guitar and he came on, he played this guitar live on stage and he said, this is a custom guitar made by, it was a great presentation, but his numbers are off. But the judges were so captivated by the energy and the whole drama that they missed the numbers. So while we're leaving the competition, we're outside waiting for the car to come up, a valet to bring the car. And there's two people approach him. The one guy comes up to us and he says, hey, you did a wonderful job. Here's my card. I am the guy that gives scholarship for the whole state of Florida, for the Florida School of Scholarships. Call me when you're ready to go to school. I said, oh my gosh, look at that. You came third, but here it is. Because you did a great job and they looked at your numbers, they realized something. So mind you now, that was part one. So now we're still waiting. This little old lady comes out and she say, you did a great job. And your startup expense, you said that your startup expense that you need was about $7,000 and you needed a vehicle to move around. He used to clean, his business was a cleaning service business. The lady says, here's my card. I'm going to send you a check for your startup expense. The next day, we're in our classroom. He comes in, Mr. Paris, you won't believe it. I got a check. I also got a van, and he was ready to go. Now, I always tell my kids that story, never cut corners when it comes to starting your business up. List everything. Have a field day with it. And that's critical. So I wanted to share this sheet with you. Make sure you work on the sheet. It's going to be critical because it could be an investor out there. You might not place, but they might ask you that magical question. So what's your startup expense? You need to know what that number is. Okay. You need to know that number. So that's critical here.
Can you suggest on how many items, how many sponges should we start off with as far as, building a cost?
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. These sponges are, you want to get maybe, if you can create a prototype, that'd be great. Okay. So your design will be probably getting a prototype up and running to demonstrate, to get investors to then, hey, oh, this is real. This is what you need to make this a reality. Here's the capital. Okay. You can approach it that way. And then when someone said, okay, hey, we'd actually have the money for you, then you can present them with your startup costs and everything you need to put out to manufacture all the pieces. Now, you asked a good question, Jamie. You said that question is, it depends on your cost structure. And we're going to look into the cost structure in a minute, okay? So keep that in mind. I'm going to bring that back to you. Okay. Any questions so far? Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
That is a great thing about Jamie. She doesn't have a sponge. She has an idea. She creates a prototype. That's a startup cost. Now, if that's a successful, and that's a startup cost to make that sponge, right? To pushed in the market, then she has to make a business plan. That will give her what she's going to need after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, right?
Correct.
Okay. So are we doing a startup here, or are we doing a business plan for at least 1 year, 2 year, 3 year?
You're doing a business plan to actually present, to actually get some
The concept.
Yeah, the conceptual idea. Now, some people go the extra mile, you know, and I'm gonna share what Samia did, and this is why she's able to win the competition. Okay, she's gonna be joining us a little later to share her experience. She just landed, so when she gets home, she's gonna call. But from seeing all competitions all these years, I thought this was a very good presentation, strong delivery. And I'm gonna play the video after we go through these numbers. Okay, does that sound good?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right, so let's go back here to financials. So key terms that we're gonna look at once we get to the numbers is contribution margin, and that is your profit. It's just they change the names up. Okay, the amount of the contribution margin is what you get at the end of the day. So if I sell it for $5, if I sell it for $6, right? And then after I take out my expenses, shipping, I'm left with a $3 profit. So it costs me this amount of money. Once I take away the COGS, I want you to write this down too. The COGS, we're gonna get into that. It's called the cost of goods sold. So the cost of goods sold comes up to $3. Okay. I'm gonna sell it for $6. This is I'm just giving you an idea. Once I deduct the contribution, the cost of goods, I'm left with a contribution margin of $3. That's my profit at the end of the day. Okay. And we're gonna go into that a little later. So contribution margin, all you got to remember is my profit. What is my profit? Okay. Fixed expense. Okay. Fixed expenses, I think we all understand what fixed expense. It's like running your own home. You have to pay your light bill, your insurance, your car note. Fixed expenses is a number of items or things that you need to keep the business up and running. If I have an internet business, if I sell stuff online, that means I need to have a website, which I need to pay for fixed expense. I need to have internet. I need to have a cell phone for clients. Okay. These are the key things that I must have to keep this business up and running. Okay. Online business are beautiful. All you need to have is the internet, your e-commerce platform. You have your insurance, general liability insurance is something critical. Okay. So that's fixed expense. Any questions on fixed expense so far?
Is there a sample that we can look at, Ray? Because you mentioned a lot of things there, and I think it's excellent. But I mean, do you have like one of these PowerPoints filled out?
Yeah, it's
somebody
coming.
previous did. Okay,
it's coming. Good. I'm going to show you. Right, it's coming. We're working our way down. I just want to get these key terms out the way.
Ray,
yeah.
In short, the fixed expense is even if you do not sell a single item, whatever is your cost, that's your fixed expense, right?
Fixed expense is two things.
Is no matter what, you have to have that. For example, you mentioned internet bill, phone bills, or rental cost. It doesn't depend on how many you sell. No matter what, you still have that cost. So that's your fixed cost, right? Yeah.
You got it. You got it. For example, it's two different things. You just said, so if I have a business and I need to, I'm selling a t-shirt at $25 and my fixed expense is $100 a month. How many t-shirts must I sell to maintain my monthly fixed expense?
Okay.
You guys understand that part?
Yeah, that's a break-even point, right? So.
You got it. I had to sell about 4 units to make my monthly fixed expense. Now go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ray, but I guess the fixed expense, you have to reevaluate that at certain points in time, because like if you got an internet service and you're paying an ISP for like, gigabyte speed, but then you get more customers or less customers, you may want to downgrade or upgrade that based on how many customers, even though it's a fixed expense, you're paying the ISP, but it might vary, I guess, based
It,
on,
yeah, it varies, and then you go back and make an adjustment. For example, my light bill used to be a certain amount. This is at home, and now my kids are home now. It's like the light bill is crazy. It's like, I'm usually paying this, now I'm paying more. And why is that? Because they're they're on the internet, they're home, the water is running, everything is going in the house. So it varies, and that's good. That's where you could reevaluate and say, you know what, we need to make some adjustments. And big business do this all the time. We need to make some cuts. Our fixed expenses is too high. We don't have the revenues coming in. We got to scale back. And how do we scale back? In different areas. Okay. Good job, Mark. Income statement. It's usually called P&L, profit and loss. And the income statement is pretty cool because before, I do the stocks, and then my first call, hey, Paris, you need to look at this stock is hot. It's hot. And I said, okay, wow, this is pretty hot. But to really get an understanding of the business, I have to go look at the income statement. I got to look at the profit and loss. Is this business really profitable? Okay. I'm not just going by what the stock is rising, but when you go look at the details, it gives you how that business performed over a period of time. Okay. How did they do last year? Okay. Anytime you go for a business loan, they want to see this right here. This is like your resume. They want to see your profit and loss. How did this business perform in the last 3 years? What's the bank account? How's money coming in? How's money going out? Okay. So that's critical. Okay.
so all these come into the contribution margin, then fixed expense, income statement, all affect that contribution margin, the profit.
Profit. You got it.
Okay, sounds good.
You got it. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to paint you the picture. I just want to get through this, but I'm going to show you how it works. Net profit. Now, you guys, basically net profit is the amount of profit or loss the business earns after paying expenses and taxes. Kids don't understand this early in life. I didn't understand it when I was in high school, when I had my first job at Burger King, and I worked all these hours, and I saw my check and I was like, what is this? I worked all these hours. Why are they taking these taxes? What is going on? And that's when I realized that I need to work for myself. I made more money cutting grass on the weekends and helping the old ladies in my neighborhood cut the grass with a lawn service. And I was done by 12 o'clock noon, started early, and then I could hit the mall and have a great time with my friends. And I made money that was my money, and I had to work hard for it. So net profit is important moving forward. Okay, and then you have pre-tax, the profit earned before paying taxes on it. Okay, and that's like your gross. Okay, and then here we have the profit and loss, which is another name for income statement. And this one is going to be a key element in business. Variable expense. Okay, expenses that changes based on the amount of product or service the business sells. Okay, that's going to be a key one. Okay.
Manufacturing costs then would be an example of that, I guess.
Manufacturing cost goes. Matter of fact, I used to charge a certain price on the shirts, but then the supplier raised his price. So then I have to then raise my price and pass it on to the customer. So prices varies. Electricity goes up. Maybe gas goes up. Oh, I have a delivery service. Okay, that will be extra because now gas went up. It affects the business. So yeah, good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me scroll down. Okay. Okay, so all income statement includes the same basic information. You have revenue, Okay, expenses and net income and loss. Okay, based on the type of business that you guys create, you're gonna always have the cost of goods, cost of manufactured sold, cost of services. Okay, so let's take a look at an example here. This is actually this is an income statement for a retailer. Okay, so gross sales 4,800. How many units they sold that year? In 1 year. Now, this is a yearly statement. In 1 year, and keep in mind that your grace period might start from January. It depends on where you start your business, your calendar. It might be from January to December. It might be from May to next year May. It depends on how you set up your business. But usually 1 year is better, is best.
Yeah, and I'm curious about that. Why would somebody? It's a fiscal calendar, I guess you're talking about there. But why would somebody not make it, make it different for tax reasons? Is that why that's done? Why it's different? I'm familiar with the concept, but I'm not sure why they choose to not start at the beginning of the year as normal.
Because some business might have started, got incorporated, and got officially up and running at a different time period. Like, for example, my friend just opened his business. So his physical year starts when he start that business. So let's say he started his business in the summer and got it incorporated. He started selling, then he can actually close, his physical year. He could do it in quarterly or he could do yearly. Depends on how he wants to do it.
Thank you.
But for this competition, you're going to use 1 year. And I have the template for you guys too.
Just so we're going to start off the time we incorporate, so to speak. That's when our fiscal year is going to start then.
Yeah. And also keep in mind that for this competition, you don't have to dive in that deep on that particular section. You're just giving them you have maybe 15 minutes to present this information. You're not going to dig deep into your financial and ask for a profit and loss statement because they know it's a conceptual idea. Okay. Now, sales and returned 400. How did they get this number here? So what they do, whatever they're selling the product for, you times that times 400 units, and that would give you that particular number. Okay. And then your net. Remember we talked about that net? Net is what you have before taxes. Okay. Then you scroll down. You have beginning inventory. Inventory is also money. Even if you have not sold the unit, it's still money that can be added in your inventory. Okay. And then here it is. You have your cost of goods sold. So what they did was add the products, and then this product comes up to this amount right here. Okay. Gross profit, once you subtract, and I'm going to give you the formulas for these, so don't stress right now. I'm just going through it real quick. We're going to go through one, and I'm going to give you a form to work on. Okay. So your gross profit is always subtract. You always subtract your COGS, your cost of goods, because you have to make more product later. So you need to have that money to recycle that money to put back into the business. So you make a profit of $3,080 once you subtract the cost of goods. Okay, so let's go down here. Gross profit. So remember we talked about operating expense, advertise, insurance, rent, telephone, utilities. You total this up, it goes right here. Now you have to subtract this from what? The gross profit on the top. Now you have a profit. This is what you walk away with before taxes, $2,430. Remember tax, all you have to do is times that number times 0.15%. This is how much you pay in tax. This is what you walk away with at the end of the day.
That's a lot of tax. So 7% normally sales tax. So this is a different type of tax we're talking about here then?
Yeah, this is some business tax. And also depends on the range too. But keep in mind, this is a manufacturing income statement. So what I did, I gave you different versions. Let's go down here. This is a service business income statement. So it's different based on the business because you have manufacturing, you have service, you have retail. Okay. Same concept. One hairstyle costs $160. Okay. Labor right here. Okay. Same concept of gross profit. You subtract your COGS, which is right here. That gives you the 2,700 because you're subtracting that from that. And then you bring that information down. Now I'm going to show you something that I created for my students, made their life easy when you calculate the forms. And I'll share that with you in a couple minutes. Okay. Now, in the PowerPoint, there's a section that asks, once you got this information mapped out here, then all you do is plug in the information. Okay. So your net profit, you just go back here. What is your net profit? Okay. Get one of these one, net. Right here. Okay. And you then plug that number in here, divided by initial investment, which is like your startup investment number, times 100 equals the return on investment. So this is like, let's say someone in the crowd wants to invest in your business, and you would say, for every dollar you give, your return will be this amount, percentage. Okay, so what's my ROI? What's the return on my investment if I give you your startup investment money? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna pause here. Let's go right here. Okay, so I'm gonna play this video here so you get an idea of the cost structure.
It goes without saying that understanding your costs is extremely important for running a profitable business. A proper understanding of costs is needed to make sound investment decisions, pricing decisions, deciding whether to keep or kill a product, keeping track of your overall business profitability, among many other things. Note, however, that I'm not talking about keeping track of costs for tax or compliance reasons. In this video, I'm talking about keeping track of costs so that you can make proper strategic business decisions. So in this video, we're going to cover a foundational aspect of cost analysis, the cost structure. Boring as it may sound, it really is an important concept to master for anyone wanting to make solid business decisions. So throughout the video, we'll be using the example of a bakery. One of the bakery's employees is a baker, and he bakes everything there: bread, pastries, pies, cakes, everything. But the bakery also has a specialized cake decorator whose only job consists of decorating these beautiful wedding cakes. Now, when we think about the costs that go into making one of these wedding cakes, some of them are quite obvious. Every cake needs flour, milk, sugar, eggs, and butter, among other ingredients. And obviously, if you want to make one more cake, you need to use the same amount of ingredients. In fact, whenever you make one more cake, you need more ingredients. So the overall ingredients cost increases as more cakes are made. These costs that increase as production volume increases are variable costs. And since we can easily link the use of ingredients to a wedding cake's production, we say that these costs are direct costs. So the ingredients are examples of direct, variable costs of selling a wedding cake. Another example would be packaging, since whenever a cake is sold, it needs to be packaged for delivery. But producing a wedding cake has a lot more costs. For example, the cake needs to be baked. And whenever a cake is to be baked, we need to spend some electricity to get the ovens going. The more cakes we bake, the higher our electricity bill will be. So the electricity cost increases whenever an additional cake is made. And therefore, we're again looking at a variable cost. However, although it's easy to see how baking more cakes drives costs up, it's a lot harder to say what part of our electricity bill corresponds to a cake, since electricity is needed for so many other things besides baking the wedding cakes. Therefore, we can try to allocate the electricity costs to wedding cakes, but it's not so easy, and it requires some judgment. These types of costs are what we call indirect costs. So when costs change with production volume, but can't be easily linked to a cost object, we say we have indirect variable costs. But to run this bakery business selling wedding cakes, there are some other very important costs that are neither directly related to making cakes nor vary with production volume. In other words, they are indirect and fixed. An example might be the bakery's rent. If you bake and sell a cake, you need to pay rent. But you always have to pay the same regardless of how many cakes you bake and sell. So, since this cost does not increase as more cakes are made, it is fixed. And, just as in the case of the electricity seen before, you can allocate these costs to wedding cakes, but it's not so straightforward. They are indirect. Another indirect fixed cost might be the salary of the person selling the cakes and the breads, although this may vary a lot depending on your local labor laws. But for the purpose of this video, let's assume that hiring and firing someone isn't something that you can do from one day to the next. So, the salary would be the same every month, regardless of how many cakes are sold, and you cannot link that cost to a specific product line, like wedding cakes, breads, or whichever product the bakery may have. An important thing to note here is that fixed costs are only fixed within a relevant range of production.
Ray, we lost the audio on the video.
Limit. However, if the demand for the bakery's products increased 10 times, the bakery might not have enough capacity to supply that demand. And in case it decided to meet that demand, it would probably need to rent more space, get more ovens, and more employees, which would therefore increase the fixed costs. So the fixed costs would have to increase to a new level, at which they would then again remain fixed, but for a new production capacity. And finally, let's talk about that cake decorator that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, whose only job consists of decorating the wedding cakes. Since we have to pay her salary, regardless of whether she decorates 1 cake, 2 cakes, or 20 cakes, employing her is clearly a fixed cost. Because sure, she spends time whenever she decorates a cake, but since she earns a fixed salary, it does not cost us more for her to decorate extra cakes. Of course, as seen previously, within the production volume limit imposed by the hours she works per day. So, if what we are analyzing is the cost of producing the wedding cakes, her salary is a direct cost. If we produce wedding cakes, we need to employ her. If we won't produce those cakes, we won't have this cost. This means that, in the case of the wedding cake decorator, when we are analyzing the costs of wedding cakes, the costs of employing her are direct fixed costs. So, summing up, the first thing we need to do to understand our cost structure is to ask the question, do costs change as the number of produced units changes? If the answer is yes, we have variable costs. If the answer is no, the costs are fixed. And the second question we would need to ask is, can costs be easily linked to a cost object? If the answer is yes, the costs are direct. If the answer is no, the costs are indirect. But note here that I say cost object, and this is a very important detail because the same cost can be direct or indirect depending on the analysis we're doing. Let me clarify. Throughout the presentation, although I never mentioned it, the cost object that I was considering was the wedding cakes production line. In this case, the ingredients were examples of direct variable costs, the wedding cake decorator was a direct fixed cost, the electricity to bake the cakes was an indirect variable cost, and the bakery's rent was an indirect fixed cost. But this analysis would be interesting if what we were trying to make business decisions about was the future of the wedding cakes production line. But if we had a chain of bakeries and we were trying to make a decision about whether to close a store, then we should be analyzing cost per store, and the entire store would be our cost object. If that was the case, all the costs related to running that store would be direct costs of our new cost object, and that would include the rent and the salaries of the employees working for that store. The only indirect costs in that case would be those generated by the central activities required to manage the store's network. I hope that wasn't too confusing, but in case that was, let me know in the comments.
How did you find that video helpful? In oh, let me see here, guys. Perfect. All right. Was that information helpful? Okay, cool. So now I'm just identifying. So we looked at cost structure right here. The document we're going to look at is a startup expense. Make sure you guys work on that. And then we're going to actually, inside this lesson right here, is the financial statement. So we went over it. So what I did, I put together a video of me actually using this form. And this form is an Excel sheet that you guys can download, but please do me the favor. If you download this Excel sheet, you have to rename it. Okay, you have to rename it. It's a Google Excel sheet. I realized that with my students, the numbers was such a tough part for them to get. So I put together an Excel sheet that allows you to put numbers in and it calculates it for the student. It makes their life a little easy, and it's going to make your life easy too. So you can download this document. Okay. And what I'm going to do is reopen it in Google Sheets. Okay. Now, first thing I'm going to do is make a copy. That's step one. Now, I'm going to give it a new name. Auto test financials. Okay, here it is. Okay. So what I did, I kind of went ahead and broke up everything in sections. Okay. So if you click on, when you download this document, you can actually use this as your worksheet. Okay. Break even has a formula, everything you type. If I put in, let's put $5, you see what happens? So it automatically does the math for you. Okay. So income statement. Okay. Now, we talked about income statement. Let's say you sell 400 units. You see what happens? It automatically adjusts it for you. So let's say, now look at the formula. A, this is a very important slide here because you're going to need this particular information here when you start putting it into your slide deck. This is important here. So A times B, right here, A times B gives you this number. Then you come down, look at it. It tells you the variable expense per unit times B. Those two, whatever your variable expense is, it calculates it for you. So, and then you remember that word contribution margin? Now remember, we're looking at a whole year. This is a yearly income statement, okay? And then you scroll down, your fixed expense, whatever that was, you pop it in here. And then you have your information tax, and then this is your net profit at the end of the whole thing. And I thought my kids love this because Mr. Paris, they said, Mr. Paris, this helps me out so quick, okay? It took me a minute to create the formulas and do this together. So please, if you're gonna use it, download it and save yourself a copy on your desktop so that you have the original, because the kids sometimes mess up the formula and then oh, it's not working. Okay, well, let me send you back the new formula. This is a lifesaver, I'm telling you. I've been doing it for years.
Ray, is that estimated income taxes?
It does everything for you. It makes
my question was, the taxes in that template, are those estimated income taxes?
This is
Each, yeah.
okay right here. Okay, this is based on the taxes per unit that you sold. So for the whole year, if you made $15,000, you got to pay 15% tax on that, which is 0.15, and that will give you that the tax you take out, and that's what you walk away with. Yep.
So that's income taxes.
Yeah.
Estimated. Okay.
Yep. Just like, you know, having a business is like having a baby. It's like, you know, you have to nurture it. You have to, it's on your mind all the time. You have to feed it. You have to groom it. You have to pay taxes on it. It's like having a human. You know, it's like having another person. You get a tax ID number, or EIN number, that identifies your business. So it's that I always tell my kids, they say, Mr. Paris, I want to start a company. And I tell them, listen, are you serious about this? Because creating a company is not just, because once you file it with it, you have 3 years to show profit in your business. And then you have to file those taxes. You're liable for everything. You know, somebody crash your car, you can be sued. Your business gets sued. So it's a lot that goes into operating and running a business. But let's get back to this right here.
Ray, along those lines, though, while you're mentioning that, like there's partnerships, there's corporations, are limited partnerships or whatever. Now, are we limited to a certain type in that respect, though, of business, or
no? You could be open. You can that's not one of the requirements in the slide decks, but we teach that in NFTE. We talk about you have general liability. Limited LLC. You have sole proprietorship. You have S corp and a C corp. So I explain my kids the share that when you have a corporation, then you have shares. You can sell shares in the corporation, stuff like that. But for this particular business plan, you don't have to get into that intense.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's only when they're ready to start and really get this and start making money coming in, then you can get incorporated. And that's a whole nother animal. Yeah. So far, let me pause for a second. I want to ask you guys, how is this information, is it making sense so far?
Helpful, yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is use this document. This will be your document that you will use to do everything. Okay, I already put the fix. Remember I told you that you can use this right here. Let's go back. Let's go back here. Remember I told you about this document right here? Okay, I recreate this document right in here too. Startup expense. You see? So you can use this document to do everything for your business plan, your cost structure, and it's all in one place. Makes your life easy. So if I say I need a laptop for this business, or I need the sponge fabric or material, I put the name of it. I put what it costs. Let's say it costs $87, $78. Bam. See that? It calculates it right for you. So when you go to the slide deck, let me show you what happens. Let me show you what the slide deck looks like. Remember I told you guys to download that slide deck in the beginning, the materials? Slide deck right here, pitch deck. Okay, so I'm gonna go to financials real quick. Right here. So this is where you put those key numbers in, okay? And you're gonna use this form to get those numbers, okay? Operating fixed expense, just put in here, you got variable, you got operating fixed expense, rent, you just put the numbers in and it gives you that total right here. If you have any variable expense, you pop it in here and it calculates for you. Okay, break even, fixed divided by the contribution margin, will give you that number here. Okay. Now let's take a look at this slide. This slide is going to be critical for your competition, because let me go back right here. Okay. So see how you have to add your total units, your gross profit, your net, your initial investment, which was the startup fund, and your return on investment. Okay. Keep in mind, this is an estimate. It's just you're estimating that you're going to sell this amount of unit. It's not like for real right now. But you're saying, hey, I can sell 1,000 units in 1 year. And one reason I can sell 1,000, because in July, because I'm like a back to school kind of concept, I get most of my sales in these my hot months. You're just having that conversation. Okay. Let's scroll up here to this slide right here. You see this slide right here? This is your business model slide. Okay. And notice those keywords that popped up: variable cost, fixed expense, break even. Okay. By using this form that I gave you here, you could then populate. You go ahead and pop your information real quick into the actual slide deck for competition. So you use this Excel as your worksheet to get things organized, and you go back to your slide deck once you download and pop the numbers in. Make sense?
Yeah, Ray, so our slide deck is going to be used. Everybody follows the same slide deck process for their pitch.
Yes. Yeah. So now
you said put pictures in there too. Like you mentioned in mine, I gave the slide deck. You said try to get some pictures to support my ideas I put in there, right?
Yes.
So we modify it a bit.
Yeah, the key, and I'm going to share Samia's piece, so you get to see a finished piece and what she did for competition, because it's perfect presentation and perfect slide deck.
And that'll be a document we can look at later on. Okay,
I'm going to
great.
give you access to that. Okay, so I want us to take a look at this particular slide, because this is going to be the meat and potato of your business. Before you can even do the yearly income statement, you got to get this done. So we're going to create a business in general. So I'm going to use this as my worksheet. Okay. So my 1 unit, remember this business plan is based off of 1 unit. So I'm selling, my selling price, my 1 unit would be, for example, let's see here. I'm going to put a t-shirt. One unit will be a t-shirt. Okay. So my selling price for this shirt will be $25. Because why 25? That's pretty high. Well, hey, I'm using pure organic material that is made from the Egyptian Nile thread back in the days. I'm just talking here, guys. So one of the key things they're going to ask you in competitions, hey, why is your price so high? And you have to be able to justify that, because the judge you might have a judge in the crowd that knows your business pretty good. And they might say, well, I've done business like this before, and I think your price is, your price is too low, or your price is too high. So be able to have something in your pocket that you can share to justify your price. Now, costs of variable material. Now, my variable material is shipping, because shipping changes, because I might have to put 5 shirts, 6 shirts. So my shipping, I'm going to make that 75 cents. I'm just make it variable. Matter of fact, I'm going to make my shipping a little higher. I'm going to make my shipping $3 per item. Yeah, $3. Okay. My labor. Now, what's good for labor? Labor depends, guys. This is critical. Labor could either make or break your business, especially when you're dealing with one number. So you got to say to yourself, what amount of time does it take to make one product? That's the magical question. Okay. For me to make a t-shirt, it takes 1 minute. So let's say I have to hire someone, and I broke it down this way because I didn't want the structure, the cost of labor to be too high. So what I did, I say, well, it takes in 1 hour, I can print 60 shirts, 1 minute, 60 shirts, 1 minute. So I can pay someone, let's say they got to make 1 hour. I can make that labor $1.25 per shirt. They get $1.25 per shirt. I'm just hypothetically, I'm just saying. Okay. What about distribution delivery? I do have a service where they can get pickup. They can actually get custom delivered to their house. So I put in there an extra, let's say $5. I'm just putting numbers in here. Okay. What I love about this form, you just pop the numbers in. It gives you, this is your COGS. Remember that word, the cost of goods sold? This is my COGS here. It's what it costs to make this product. This is my contribution margin. This is my profit at the end of the day. So I get $15.75 plus I get back my COGS, the cost of goods to make this product.
What's COSS there? COSS?
Cost of goods, cost of sales sold.
Thank you.
Now this sheet right here, once you have this situated, then you come back here to your slide deck and then you just put your information in. See, you can always change this information because your business might not be a labor, it might be different. So you can change these information of how you want it to be. Okay. Now, fixed expense. So we go back here to the slide deck, fixed expense, bam, there it is. And I would type in all the things I need for fixed expense right in here, and it gives me the total. And I come back to my slide deck and I put that number here. Okay. Now, revenue streams, distribution channels, delivery of service, markup costs. So you might have another revenue stream coming in. So like Sammy does have t-shirts, she sells a video game product. Okay, so you have a revenue stream. So in this particular section, it depends because now you have additional revenue stream coming in. So now you have to then put in your channel, where is it coming from, delivery service, and the cost per it. So if I have, let's say I do hats instead of t-shirts, that's another product. So hats, and then the markup cost on the hats would be this. Okay, and then you just do the same thing. But usually most of my kids don't have additional revenue streams. They try to focus in on one to get things up and running. Okay, but having an additional revenue stream gives you a competitive edge. It makes your business a little bit more, wow, this kid not only selling t-shirts, but they're selling custom made sneakers. You get another way of bringing in revenue stream to the business. Okay. So once you have that, let's go back here to our practice. And the same thing with variable costs. Okay. Now this right here, I went ahead and gave you this because depends on your business. Do you remember these numbers can change? Okay. For example, let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to give an example here. Let's go here to this one here so you can see it. Let's go to the main one. Now, this one here is all of the everything put together in one section. So you see all these right here, all these different charts. I went ahead and put them all in one spot so the kids could work in one location. Okay. So this particular piece, I'm going to show you here. Okay. Let me show you real quick. Okay. This is the cost of the product. This is the item. Okay. Let's say we're making a burger. Okay. I'm just giving you a walkthrough here. The bun. Okay. The bun costs $4. Okay. You get 30 buns in a pack because you buy it wholesale. You don't go to Publix and get this. You get this at the real dealers. How do you average your cost of a bun? Well, this formula creates, the rule is that you divide the amount by the cost, and that would give you the cost per unit. That bun costs 13 cents per bun. Okay. What's the markup? Now you got to make a profit, right? So I'm going to mark this up 2 times. The rule is I double the price. Okay. So I just add a little bit more on here. I add 3 cents. I bring it to 16 cents markup. Okay. And this means estimate sold. If I sell 5 buns, I make a profit of 80 cents. Okay. Then we need the beef that goes in the bun. I get it for $20. 100 pack, I get 100 patties in a box. I divide this by that, by the cost price. That gives me 20 cents. My markup times 2, 40 cents. I sell 5 units, I make a profit of $2. And so for cheese, I get 500 cheese in a pack for 25. The same concept. That cheese costs 5 cents per unit, per slice. Okay. Labor, same thing. So this right here is good just in case your kids have a business that deals with different items and stuff. You could always use this chart to break it down and go and dive deeper into the costs.
Yeah, I just was thinking about that 40 cents, that double markup versus less, only 3 cents to 13 cents. That's because maybe refrigeration to keep the beef cold possibly. It's more expensive to handle that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You see that? That's like an indirect expense. That's very good. Because now you get to think now, okay, wow, man, I got to store the beef. Okay, what if it goes bad? It's so much that goes into this that you got to factor it early out in the beginning stage. Good observation.
Like those vaccines, right? Some of them have to be colder than others,
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So
Right.
Go ahead.
So what if, in food industry, you throw out some stuff, maybe 10%, 5%, depending on your operations and volume. How do you account for that? Do you take into consideration that I'm going to use 90% of beef and 10% is going to go waste, or 5% is going to go waste, and put that as a pricing or as a cost?
Yeah, you can put that in a variable expense.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the variable expense, and then you
Okay.
factor in the cost in there. Like, you don't have to be too high, but for every
Yeah, I mean something.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a great question. So see why this chart is a lifesaver. And then what I do, I have my students give me feedback of why. So you could always have your students, hey, what are some of the competitors' prices out there? So then then you have to see it with your eyes, because sometimes they tell you stuff and you don't have it, but you have to be able to see it here. Okay. And then it goes in order. So when you use the form, you go down to 6, and that's what we just did. You can do it here also. Your fixed expense. Okay. And then this is actually the yearly income statement, the one that you have here. I just put it right on here. And you just plug the numbers in this section, and it does it for you on this side. And then for this part, right next to it, I went and added the total units sold for the year. So let's say you sold 200 units, whatever you sold, you go down here, it gives you the total number, because that number is needed to go where? Right here. You guys see how this works? See? So one of the key things, now let's go back here to the slide deck. See? Right here, they're asking you the total units for the year. Okay. That number is going to be, you can create that number right here just by calculating the total units that you estimated you're going to sell.
Well, do we have to come up with some type of like a 5-year plan at all? Because it's going to increase hopefully our number of units sold
Yeah.
once
In the,
established.
in the real world, yes, you can, but because of time and the business plan pitch, you just want to have a solid good 1 year. And once you get if your kids win the pitch competition, then they get to move forward to the next level. And what's good about NFTE, they actually connect the students with different mentors in the industry. So if your business is a tech business, you get to connect with people in Microsoft or in different industries that can help you grow the business more.
So can we do that as part of the competition, or that's after we already compete? We could connect with those people,
Yeah.
those resources.
Yeah, matter of fact, we do have in the sessions coming up for the classes, we have a lot of guest speakers that's coming from industry.
I'd like to connect up with Microsoft people for the what I'm thinking of here. Tie that into what we're doing, and maybe involve those people with our current students and putting our package together. You know, our slide deck, if that's possible. If you have contacts from Microsoft,
shoot me an email and I'll connect Janine and once we start our session, I'm going to invite you into those sessions.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Listen, it's valuable to hear from those guys. We had someone from TD Ameritrade that designed the platform for their bank, and just listening to what and understanding he put together a slide deck. Matter of fact, on my YouTube channel, I did recorded the session and I uploaded. So if you have some time, check out my YouTube channel. But I did had him. So I'm gonna just do one through. Let me see here. Let me see all videos right here. Perfect. YouTube channel. I'll be uploading like crazy. So here it is. Dr. Rocha, this was a good one from FIU. And where is the wireframe? Zoom presentation. There it is. This is a very good one. This is actually a company that came and worked with the kids that does, he teaches, this is actually the CEO. I have great food, but I'm in the back of the mall. And what he designed was an actual app that allows you to perfect your swing in golf, baseball, any type of sport that you can put yourself, and it tells you how to get the correct form. Pretty cool app. But this goes through, this is his slide deck, see? Clean, you got some images when I talked about using more images. See? See, he's more talking and more visuals. See? So the basic of the app was okay. So that slide you have it here. If you check out my YouTube channel, it's a whole presentation of him pitching his business idea. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right here. Let's go back. Let's go to right here. Okay, so cost structure. Okay, we kind of went into the startup investment. We look at financial structure. What I'm gonna ask you guys to do, okay? We're gonna look at the video before we head out in breakout rooms of Samia presenting. So you get to see the final slide deck, what it should look like. And then I'm gonna have you guys start working on your slide deck. I know you already started, which is great. Now we can start using this template that I gave you to start getting things in order with the numbers. Once you have the financials done, you're pretty done. You're automatically done with your slide deck. You just got to make it look pretty.
And this is something we're going to fill in later on in more detail with the students, right? Right now, we're just putting some numbers out there, our best guesses, and then we're going to investigate this further with the students then.
You got it. You're just going to estimate, put some stuff in there just to know how it flows to get your presentation ready. And then that's it. Future plans, this is an easy slide. And then you're done. You see? Now, I'm going to give you a heads up. Right here, when the judges look at this slide here, they can automatically tell if your numbers are correct. If you put $60,000 here, gross profit, and then your net profit is $30,000, that's a red flag. Something is wrong. The numbers are way off. That's not 15% of 60,000. Okay. So if you put 60,000 and your net profit is around 57, 56,000, you look good. You're in a good space.
I need some education there, Ray, because I'm not sure. I just think profit's profit, but what's the difference between gross and net? I'm not really sure what the difference is there.
Gross is like, let's say you work for the college and you work 10 hours and you get, let's say you get $350 for 10 hours. That's what you get for your hours. Now, once they take out, what you got to take, Social Security, once they take out health care, once they take out state tax, federal tax, this is what you're left with, the net. Like when you go fishing and you swipe that net, whatever's in that basket, that's what you take home to eat. Make sense?
Thank you. Yeah, not this. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So right here, go back. So now let's take a look at any questions so far. I think that concludes. With this chart, this is going to save you a lot of time and it's going to help you get to understand everything right there. But please help me out by make a copy before you work on it, because if you work on it, you'll be working on everybody's piece. Make a copy and download it, save it to your drive so you have the original copy, and do your thing. Alrighty, so now let's go and take a look at this pitch. So the goal is, this is the actual NFT competition pitch, and these are actual investors on the panel. So by looking at this, you get to see the questions they're going to ask. There was 3 competitors. Let me show you this. This is Joaquin. He came in 3rd place. And I had my kids look at these videos because you get to see what a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place looks like.
To further expand into other countries nearby Colombia, and then especially that zona cafetera, which I want to keep on reiterating. And again, with our website, if you clearly see at the bottom left, that's the home page of the website, and to the right, you'll see that was the first day I created an Instagram account, and we have 27 followers in just a couple of hours, which is astonishing. That's what.
Okay.
Well, who here is?
Now Joaquin came in 3rd place. Okay. Now, one of the reasons he came in 3rd place, remember that slide I told you about? Okay. So remember how you can plug the numbers in real quick? Now, the concern that Joaquin came in 3rd because he didn't stick to the plan. This is one of my students here. And what Joaquin did was he told me, Mr. Paris, I'm better off the head. I'm better speaking, improvising. I know how to talk. I know how to do this. And I told him, I said, Joaquin, you have to have a plan. You have to stick to the script. He ran out of time.
Future fans, I'll be attending WashU next year. One of the most selective countries in the school, and especially in the Olin business, will be part of the Beyond Boundaries program. So I'll be able to both take international relations and the Olin Business School. So again, to you, the investors, it's up to you. Will you be pitching into a flourishing multinational company idea? It's a lifetime opportunity. I guess we have 30 seconds left.
What's the time limit? I'm sorry. The time limit on that, Rick?
He had 15 minutes. That's
how many again? I'm sorry.
15 minutes.
15 minutes? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is a young lady. He went up, and these are questions that the judges asked. So you get to see the
more insight in regards to how are you going to best put your organization to be successful in those three areas.
Okay, so right now, I know with COVID in question, that's kind of what brought up your question. How am I going to expand right now? I currently have family members and family friends in Colombia, so this is where I've been getting all my data from, not just Googling, like, how much does this cost in Colombia, but I've been using actual accurate data points from Colombians themselves.
One of the key things that Joaquin did, he spent a lot of time on the questions, and he kind of missed the point and then went left field and then brought it back. Then he never came back to conclude the question. So paying close attention to the questions that the judge asks you and being able to answer it precisely is going to be critical. So here is Samuel's piece. This is the winner. Okay, let's take a look at her piece.
You've graduated high school, ready to move off into the real world. But then you're hit with, next please, bills, college debt, credit card fees, and you think to yourself that algebra did not prepare me for this. But lucky for you, I have a solution with Money Moves. Next, please. Money Moves is a 3D life simulation video game and educational program that allows you to manage allowance, learn how to file taxes, how to pay bills, learn about scholarships and how to apply to college, and much more. I plan to sell this game for $500 annually to school districts and educational agencies. So for the students who this game is really here for, it is completely free. Next. Okay, but now enough talking about the game. Let me show you how this game really works. Okay, we can play the video super quick. Awesome. Okay, so this here is Jake. He is a 18-year-old senior in high school, and right now he's trying to save up for his college fund. So he actually managed to create his own babysitting business within Money Moves and managed to make $500 in just 3 weeks. So now he's going into the bank to deposit the money he made into his savings account, which will go towards his college fund. And you can not only just do that, you get to customize your own character in the game, spend, save, invest, get a job, as well as start up your own business, go to college, pay bills, learn about student loans, and you can even have all the fun of learning to buying a car and paying for car note, car insurance, and learn all about the amazing things that come with that. Next, please. And before I go on to the financial metrics, I wanted Money Moves to be a reflection of the real world. So I actually moved to the United States as a sophomore in high school. And I'm also a first generation college American student. So it's hard for me to kind of figure out on my own how to pay for student loans, figuring out how to apply to college, figuring out what credit is and getting a credit card for the first time. And as well as that, when I was actually a senior, I just graduated, my dad actually lost his job. So I had to kind of move out, live on my own at 18, and figure out how to pay for a room, how to manage budgets, how to save money enough to kind of survive. And when I taught myself these skills and went on this journey, I wanted to find a way to teach everyone else around me, and in a way that's going to be fun for them, in a way that they can actually remember this content. And I wanted to do this for people who are not just immigrants, people who are in similar situations as me, but just for 18-year-olds in general, because honestly, this is key information that honestly, we don't even learn in school. And I didn't really learn much in school. So I wanted to give this opportunity to everyone, no matter what background they came from. So I actually sell my game for $500 for one yearly game admission. My variable material expenses are $50, with my fixed being $51.25. My cost of goods is only $100, so I have a $400 contribution margin. And to break even, I only need to sell 1 unit monthly. Next, please. Okay, so my go-to market plan is direct pitching to schools and educational agencies. And with COVID-19, these can be done through Zoom and even in real life. As well as this, I promote Money Moves through all my social media. So I have Instagram, I have my website, multiple different resources, because I really believe social media is our future. As well as this, I have another company called Zia Kids Learning, where I teach kids how to code, and I implement money moves into this program where they can actually also buy it privately. And as well as learning how to code and how to code certain parts of my video game, they also learn about financial literacy. Next, please. Okay, so our competitors are EverFi and The Sims. So I don't know if you're familiar with EverFi, but it's a financial literacy curriculum that is currently embedded into the Miami-Dade County public school system. And I'm gonna keep it real, it's kind of boring. It's pretty much just watching videos about financial literacy and reading, and it's up to the point where my peers don't show much interest in it until it's too late. And they're stuck and they graduate high school and they're like, well, what do I do now? So as well as this, EverFi does not educate on more than just financial literacy. It's not customizable to age ranges, and it does not offer fun gameplay. My other competitor is The Sims. So even though in The Sims you get to learn how to buy and sell and manage budgets, it is not really a good source to learn about financial literacy. It's not customizable to age ranges, but it does offer fun gameplay. But the best thing about Money Moves is there's currently nothing in the market like it. We educate on more than just financial literacy, where it's customizable to age ranges, offers fun gameplay, and so much more. Next, please. Okay, so I wanted to test if Money Moves was actually going to be successful in educating the youth. So I assumed that 30 kids that complete the game will score 80% on a section test that I give them after completion. And this was actually conducted in Hialeah Miami Lakes Senior High School. So for the results, they got on average 100% in managing allowance, 80% in creating a business, and only 60% investing in stocks. So what I realized was that the investing in stocks language was too difficult for the middle schoolers to comprehend. So I simplified it for them and tracked my journey on my Instagram. As well as this, I think it's important that we teach the next generation about stocks, because I don't know if you guys saw everything about GameStop and AMC that was happening. A lot of youth were invested in tracking everything and wanting to know how the stock market works. So I provide a platform for them to do so. Next, please. And now that I was sure that my game is educational enough for the youth to actually learn, I wanted to make sure that it was fun for them to play and they had a great time and actually enjoyed playing. So with this survey, I asked them, how fun did you find the game on average from 1 to 5? The average was 4. Then I asked them what was fun about the game. They said that they enjoyed talking to other players, collecting and spending money, and exploring the map. And then I asked them, hey, what parts and features of the game did you not enjoy and why? They said that the map was too small and they wanted more customization options. So that's exactly what I did. I gave them a bigger map and added more customization options. And once again, tracked my journey on my Instagram at Money Moves Game. Next, please. Okay, now I will show you a testimony from a mother who's actually been using Money Moves for 6 months for their kids.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to make a short video and tell you how much I have enjoyed working with the team at Zia Kids Learning and Money Moves. They have been such a vital part in my kids' future in understanding financial literacy and making sure they understand taxes and understanding budgets and things like that of that nature. I had a 13-year-old and I also had a 10-year-old, and it's really important for them to understand financial literacy. You know, many times we don't teach our kids that, so as they get older, they don't understand how money works. And this program that was implemented by Zia Kids and their team has been an amazing and vital part of my family. It has really set my kids up for their financial futures and how to understand money and how money is made and how budgets are done. So I've been using the program for my kids for a little bit over 3 months now, and I cannot praise it enough. I am very appreciative for such an opportunity to give to my kids, to teach them. And I just want to tell the whole entire staff at Zia Kids and Money Moves, thank you so very much. I appreciate that as a mom and also as an educator myself. This is something that every kid and every family should really, really, really learn how to do to better their future as they get older. And I want to say thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of that platform. Thank you so much. Bye.
And that was a testimony from the amazing Miss Postel. Okay, now for startup costs. So the startup costs will be approximately 2,500, with programming costs being 500, graphic design being 200, server domain being 300, and marketing 1,500. And this is just for the most basic, simplistic version of the game that I can make. So for post-launch, I would like to expand my servers, expand everything, switch platforms also. So for programming updates, that'll be 1,000, graphic design 750, switching platforms 2,500, marketing 3,000, for a total of $7,250. So to get this game where I actually want it to be, I will need between $10,000 and $20,000 worth of funding, because with video games, they're very complex to make and create. So we need a lot of startup funds initially, but however, later on, throughout the course of over the years, it will not need that much money to keep it running, which is amazing. Next, please. Okay, so these will be my financial projections. So within a year, I plan on selling 275 units. This is just within the state of Florida alone. My gross profit will be approximately $137,500. My net profit being $134,615. With the initial investment being $2,500 for a return of 154%, with the highest month of sales being at the beginning of the school years. Next, please. Okay, and this is my wonderful and amazing management team. So let me reintroduce myself again. Hello, my name is Samia Zia. I'm CEO of Money Moves. I just graduated high school and I'm currently attending FIU for economics. I've coded over 5+ apps, video games, and websites, and as well as I'm CEO of Zia Kids Learning. And to my left is the wonderful Eric Prieto. He is a coder on Money Moves. He is currently in Miami-Dade College for computer science. He has coded 20+ apps, video games, and websites. And then to my right is also the equally as wonderful Mr. Freddie Rizzo, who is the marketing director here at Money Moves. And he's also in Florida International University for business administration. And he is CEO of Bolsars, which is another kind of video game that we have collabed on. So we actually met at Startup Summer, which I don't know if you're familiar with. It's another NFTE program where we were actually competing alongside each other. And I'm not gonna lie to you, we were rivals. At first, we competed against each other. We actually ended up placing first and second place because they were in a team. But that friendly rivalry just ended up turning into an amazing friendship and amazing business partnership. And we've collabed on multiple projects since then. And one thing that I'll say is that our team has, and not many others do, is passion. We love what we do. We're determined in what we do. And we actually believe if you don't love what you do, then why are you doing it? So that's one thing that always keeps us running as a team. All right, next, please. Okay, at launch and now. So right now we're promoting Money Moves through our strategic marketing planning. We're pitching to schools and educational agencies. And as it's currently a PC game, we also want to put it on the App Store and Play Store. So for future plans, I want to teach more life skills throughout the game, not just financial literacy. So for example, changing a tire. I unfortunately had to learn this the hard way by being stuck on the I-95 with a flat tire. But I don't want anyone else going through the same situation. So I want to teach more generic life skills, just how to be an adult, kind of. And I also want to have different versions of this game for schools to suit different demographics of students. Because, of course, some students don't learn the same way as other students. So I definitely want to adapt the game to suit the different demographics. And honestly, I want to get my degree. I want to get multiple different certifications with coding and just different ways I can constantly improve my business. Any opportunities to constantly improve, not just myself, my business also, is something that I'm looking forward to in my future. All right, next, please. All right, thank you so much for listening. This is Money Moves, the video game, growing your mind $1 at a time. And I'm open to questions.
Hey, this is Evan Robinson. If the investors were potentially to invest in you, can you talk about how funds would be used over the next 5 months to a year?
Okay, so the funds automatically will go towards the production of the game. Because although I have a sort of beta version running right now, I most definitely want to expand the game and add a lot more features, as I was discussing throughout the presentation. So as well as the graphic design features of the game, it's also going to go towards kind of marketing and promotion. So going to schools directly, pitching to them, and similar concepts as to that. So that's where the money's mostly going to go.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm just curious. I saw that you're going to be charging $500 for each of the schools to have this program implemented. How did you come up with that number?
Because I first looked at how much budget the schools get to put into different programs, and they kind of range between, depending on like how big the school is, 1,000 to plus 10,000. So I thought I'd like to keep it a reasonable number in the beginning, as I'm starting up as $500 annually. So, and then with this being implemented into school, see how well it does. Slowly, I would eventually, but plus with the 500 over the years, eventually add up to more and more.
Okay, thank you.
Just, I had a similar question. So the 500 annually, so would it be additional 500 in the upcoming year? Is that sort of kind of thinking ahead how you plan to progress, or is it a membership that will stay stagnant?
Oh no, yeah, so it's just a flat rate of 500 yearly. But hopefully if it expands and I add more features, then I will raise the prices accordingly.
And then if an individual wants to buy it, does the price change? Or if an individual use was going to log in, is that possible? And would it be the same pricing?
Oh yeah, so how it currently works is they actually, when they purchase the game, they get like a login to the website. So that will be under their entire school, and then they can add the children within the website and they give them their individual logins. But I actually don't, for right now, I'm doing it mostly just publicly because I believe that no kid should have to pay for the service. No one should have to pay for something like this. I feel like, especially from my background and where I'm from, I want to give this to everyone, no matter who you are, wherever, all schools, I want to be available to everyone. So private use, I'm not so kind of into that.
Right?
Thank you so much, investors, and thank you, Samuel. Very.
Okay. What's your thought on the presentation by Samia?
I think she's a very fluid speaker. She was a really good presenter. Knew her material well.
She had her facts together. She was ready to answer the questions. I thought that's very important.
Okay, good.
You can sense that she worked on it. She knew everything what was going on. So
Gotcha. But what about the PowerPoint? Did you know was it heavy with a lot of text, or was it a little bit of balance in the presentation?
I thought it was simple enough. Yeah.
it was not busy. Yeah, yes, not busy, real busy. Yeah, not too many words.
Very good. That's one of the key elements. Bullet points, some images in there, and mainly you telling them the story, mainly you speaking and you talking to them. You know, that's the key to this. You don't want to put so much words on there that they end up reading it and not listening to you. So one of the key things is just 1, 2, 3 punch. Remember I told you 1, 2, 3, simple, clean, and then you elaborate more on it because it's timed. So if you look here, these are key things that I thought that she was able to address. Pitch strategy, confidence, memory. She had a problem and a solution, evidence of the date. Dress attire was she practiced her voice diction, the smile, the humor. She had relatable stories. That was critical. When she talked about the MVP, then she put in there the Wall Street bets that was going on with GameStop, and she made a connection that how younger generation are getting into the stock market, and this is why her games is a value. She had a client testimony that sealed the cake. Having someone speak on behalf of your business was critical. I think that helped. She had a clear plan, open to questions, and she was very able to articulate everything. Now, what I did, I made this an assignment for my class, and I had my students, because they're about to get into pitching too. So I asked them to reflect on the pitch. You know, what did you learn from it? And as you can see, Sammy's pitch strategy was very good. You know, some people said very well presentation, evidence. She had evidence, very smooth, no stopping. And now keep in mind, these are kids, it's level 1, level 2, different levels in here. So I'm getting look at this kid. Look at the amount of information that she got just from that presentation. So you can use this as a tool. You can use Samia as a tool. You can actually use this slide deck, that presentation, so that your kids can see what a level one, what a first place, second place, and a third place look like. And that will drive the energy. That will get your kids to like, what? Man, I could do this. So I think showing them the end result and what the pitch and how the judges ask the questions, and then have the kids do an activity on it, will kind of build them up to get ready for this whole process. Now, any questions so far? I know it was a lot of information today. Heavy information. Oh my gosh. I need to drink some water. It's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's Friday evening, right?
Yeah. So what we're going to do, I planned it out so that I gave you all this heavy information, and I want you to use the rest of the day, the weekend, Monday, Sunday, whatever, to digest and start working on your plans. Start putting this information and getting it together. All I want you to do is focus in on your slide deck. Okay? Focus in on your money part and the slide deck. But before we leave today, I'm gonna leave, you guys can be working on your own moving forward for the rest of the evening, is that I need to hear your concepts. I heard Jamie's concept. Sounds great.
Excuse me, Ray, along those lines, just a quick question. We can work as a team if we want to. You mentioned like there's another person that I'd like to work with, and we'd like to work with one another. Is that okay then to do that?
That's fine. That's fine.
Would it be just one slide deck in that case?
Yeah, one slide deck, correct.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty productive. Yeah.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Mark, so Mark, I think you shared your concept, but can you share it, and then at least everybody share maybe like 30 seconds of their concept before we head out?
Sure. Let me go first here then.
Yeah.
And I think Julia expressed an interest as well, and we're working it. So I'll take like 15 seconds. 15. I'm sorry. You said 30 seconds. I'll take 15 seconds. I'll let Julie go ahead and expand on the idea. Okay. So basically, I want to come up with a kiosk that can go ahead, probably be on the outside of a building where somebody can get checked temperature wise and possibly even COVID tested wise, depending on what they want to invest in. So that prevents COVID from coming into the building. And in a closed area, COVID is going to spread quicker. All right, Julie, if you want to go ahead and take over from there.
Sure. So I would imagine that I would be looking at more of the details and the execution and the logistics, things like weather, what would impact the actual COVID testing and the validity of it, as well as personnel, along those lines.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's hear someone else. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see.
Okay. I just came up with this idea yesterday. So
wonderful.
While I was walking around the downtown St. Pete, wanted to try out something which I've never done and will not do. Is starting a food truck. I mean, it sounds exciting, you know. So starting a food truck, I couldn't find any nice Indian fusion food, so I'm going to try that.
Wow, I like that.
I scanned Tampa Bay area, and it has only 2 food trucks. The reviews are not, only one has a good review, other one has not. And I know the reasons too, because I do not like a single Indian restaurant in the area.
Wow.
They use the same sauce. I mean, if you're a real Indian, it's like a cheat. You know, someone giving the same thing with different colors, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow.
So that's my concept.
I love it. Love it. And that there is a need, because there might be other people in that area that's going through the same problem.
And now with COVID, it gives you some different things to, you know, fan out. For example, a lot of cities are right now more lenient in giving you permits on working on public parking lots, because parking lots are not that full, right? And you can fan out into delivery service too. It's like, traveling on an RV with a car in the back.
Yeah.
So you can have a food truck and you can also go in 5 miles, 10 miles radius.
Mm.
Create an app. There's different foodie networks. There are a lot of, influencers into gourmet food and gastronomic. So I would just since yesterday, I was just thinking about that.
No, I think that's a win-win, man.
Except time is too short to come up with a real world business plan,
Yeah. No. Listen, sky's the limit. Just have fun with it. I tell my kids, any idea is a great idea. You just got to just execute it. It doesn't matter how simple it is. Sometimes
And I'm going to give that project in one of my marketing classes. I'm teaching in the summer. So that will be a student's project.
That'd be nice.
Start with a food truck.
That will be fun and nice. A lot of energy. And they have different departments. The compartment. You have the marketing team, you have the chef, you got the people who prep the food. That's pretty cool.
Actually, services are one of the hardest to plan than products.
Yes.
There are a lot of tentacles. They go along everywhere.
Yeah. Matter of
But
fact,
I'm going to try that. I'm going
to send you a link. NFTE did a program with I actually taught the kids. These were first offenders and they had one chance to run a food truck. We did it in the summer and they ran a food truck, took it out in the community. It made national news and it was the only nonprofit food truck in South Florida, and it was ran by students. I'm gonna send you the article. Remind me to send you that. I'm gonna send you that right now. Okay, let's hear Damon. Let me find you that article.
Okay, I did talk about a little bit, I think last week, but I've been developing the idea some. We're talking about space, St. Pete Arts, Culture, and Edutainment. Performing arts venue where young adults participate in the expression of art that represents and appeals to youth culture does not currently exist in St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg College's music industry recording arts degree trains students in performance, production, and event management. However, they lack an ongoing real-world venture to support the experiential learning model pursued. So in a town renowned for the arts, we got to give our kids a shot and cultivate the future. We're going to cultivate space, St. Pete Arts, Culture, and Entertainment.
Love it.
What else do you want to know? What can I tell you?
No, love it. And I can see that being something that is an annual event. That's even annual or seasonal. It depends on how you market it.
Every night. Mondays off. We're taking Mondays off.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's how it works. We get a venue and there's 3 sort of avenues of business. We can rent the venue directly. We can partner with you in a promotion, or we can present an artist and take all the ticket revenues ourselves. We sell concessions and make a profit on that. Sell tickets, sell concessions, and rent the venue. And the students are there running the venue and managing the venue and learning and basically, creating young entrepreneurs and creatives and management professionals. It's the next, it's the future of St. Pete.
Powerful. Let me see here. Let's try to find the article. Well, listen, so far, everybody has great concepts. The key to this is your delivery and passion. When you present it, just have your passion and just be you and share the information. You've seen Samir's presentation. It's not too heavy, just nice and light, good enough information, drive the concept home, and you should be good to go. Use that document that I gave you, explore the document. That's going to help you get a better understanding of the financials. Okay.
And Suhas, I want you to park the truck out front, okay?
Oh, the
You're
food
making me
truck.
hungry.
I know I can eat something good. Well, guys, what I'm going to do is let you have the, is it any questions on what we covered today so far? Was it very helpful?
Yeah.
Can I ask you questions? Do we know who the panelists are going into the competition? Is it totally, is that a secret?
Yeah, I'm
Or
not sure who the panelists might be. I know they get actual investors and business owners that come on. They're probably on the panel. Like these guys were like like financial guys. One guy was a financial guy. One guy was a startup tech in California. So different companies might come in and do that. The panels. Yeah. Now, then when is our next session?
Monday evening.
Monday.
This Monday evening. Okay, so what we're gonna do Monday. I know today we kind of shared out. We did some stuff like that. Monday will be more of a working session. So when we meet, we're gonna do an introduction, but then we jump right into our individual breakout rooms and we just work. We just work on putting things together. But if you can get a jump start and start to put your PowerPoint together, that will help you out, you know, help us move forward faster. Okay. So you have to go ahead, Jamie.
Is PowerPoint and slide desk, are those the same thing?
Same thing, yeah, the slide deck, sorry, yeah. It's actually a PowerPoint slide, but that's all you're doing. It's just 9 slides. You guys knocked out. Please share before you leave. I need to look at your slide decks. So inside, right here is where I want you to turn in your work. Where is it at? Okay, right here. So this is where you're going to turn in your slide deck. So we can, you know, I can give you feedback, look at it, and then you can continue working on it. So this is where you're going to turn it in. We got Mark, we got Damon, beautiful. Okay. Now
we'll be updating that one too, right? Just wanted to mention because Zoe's going to put her input in there too.
That's fine. That's fine. That's what it's for. Just update. Now, my recommendation, once you have it all filled, I would do this. So you work smart. Have your kids find a template, a PowerPoint template that works with your business. So you can go to Canva. You can download a lot of cool templates. You can just put in the type of concept you want, and you can get a really cool PowerPoint template that you can work with. And then what you could do is start transferring the information onto the main one that you're going to use for the competition. This is just to give you a heads up, because you don't want to use the same slide deck that you use in NFTE. They want to see, okay, wow, this person used a slide deck that's customizable. So just download some. They have all kind of stuff. You type in whatever business idea, they might have a slide deck just for that. Okay, and let's do Canva, or you can use any other templates that you want to use. Just a heads up. Okay. On that note, any questions? Okay. So no questions. I'm gonna have you use this remainder of the day for, you know, working to work on your plans and get things organized.
Excuse me. Now you just showed us some presentations. You're just saying to pull those presentations for just some ideas for modifying the slide deck, right? The normal slide deck. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So instead of working on the slide that you have here, you work on it as a beginner, but then you want to, for your presentation, you want to maybe find a nice template that you can transfer and make it look really cool.
So basically, we're still going to keep that slide deck format, but just take maybe some pictures from that, putting it into the one that everybody uses.
Correct.
Right? We're not really going to change it to the other one. It's just take it from that template, some information, put it into it. Okay.
You got it. Mm-hmm. and definitely you have access to this. You can see how he did it, just to get an idea. Yeah, so do I need to go over one more time on this document here? Make sure you guys make a copy of this, download to your computer, and then rename it, and then work on it that way. It makes your life easier. Yeah. All right, well, if there are no more questions, I'm gonna let you guys use the rest of the evening to work on your plans and do what you have to do. Okay.
You mind sticking around just a little bit, Ray? I just want to make sure I can pull that down. So I've got the I'm at the NTFE slide fast pitch right now. I'm in the business area, I guess it is.
Let me go
under Classroom Google.
Okay.
So okay, I'm going to go back to classes here.
Right here.
Okay. And I slide down to materials. Okay. I'm not there yet, Ray. So classwork. I go to classwork and then materials. Okay, got it.
Then click on FT Fast Pitch.
Let's see, let me find it there.
And you already have this already, so I think I saw yours, Mark.
It's PDF, right? FT Fast Pitch PDF. Well, I think there was something else. You wanted us to fill out the Excel spreadsheet, right? Yeah, I have this. I have the slide deck already. Okay. But I need to do the other part of that.
This is where you're gonna get it. Let me show you real quick. So go down to cost structure.
Cost structure, okay.
Scroll down. You have the video that demonstrates how to use the document. You click on it.
Okay.
Right click. Just click on the little arrow.
Okay. This is just the video though, right? I wanted to get the Excel spreadsheet and the PDF.
Yeah, this is it right here. So what you want to do is open it up.
I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm not on the video. I'm under financial cost structure Excel right now, right?
Yes, it has to be there.
Okay,
yes.
Sorry. Okay. All right, so I got it open right now.
And then
it's open with, I'm going to open with, whoops.
Google Sheets.
It's Google Sheets, okay.
And once it's open, make sure you make a copy. That's the first thing you want to do. Okay. Give it a new name and give it a new location.
How'd you make a copy? I'm sorry. Go to File right there. File. Make a copy. Okay, got it. Okay, because I'm kind of looking at this at the same time you're doing that. Sorry about that.
Okay. No.
Okay, so copy of. I'm going to go ahead and put Julia's name and my name on there. I'll just say Julia Hayes, Mark Peters. Copy of that. Okay, so we have both, so it represents both of our teams. So I say, then that says share it with same people. Do I select anything though like that? Because I want to select share with same people.
Okay, before you do that now, make sure you close out the original. Close out the original. So
okay, so I say, because right now where it says copy document, that's where I have those option. It goes to my drive. It says my drive.
That's fine.
Okay, so it has Julia's name and my name in it, but right there at that point, don't I check share with the same people or not really?
That's what you want to do. You see a little share in the corner?
Okay, from there. Okay, so I'll just say okay at this point. Got it.
Okay. You add the person's email.
Okay, share, got it. Okay.
Once you add the email, and then you want to make sure they can edit, they're an editor.
All right, so all right, so I got a little confused here. It has the owner, my name, and then it says share with add people. Got it. Okay, I see it there. All right, now I'm going to have to put Julia's email address in there. Now my email on there is my Google account, so I guess it would have to be Julia's Google account, right? Yeah. Because the St. Petersburg College one probably wouldn't work, right?
Yeah, use a Gmail account for this.
Okay. I just put it in the chat to you, Mark, on my Gmail.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you both can work on this at the same time, which is good. And you can do the same thing for your slide deck. You should share, and you put the information in, and both you can work on the slide deck at the same time.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Right. So hopefully that took. I'm not sure. I might have to redo it, Julia, because I'm not sure if that share option took right there. But I got the basic idea, though. Ray, thanks a lot for walking me through. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. Great. Jamie, how you're good to go?
Yeah, I think I just did it again, or I just went through it. I just wanted to make sure that I knew how to turn things in. So I saw that once I just go into where you originally created the file, that we go into
Right here?
Yeah, not necessarily the slide deck, but the like the comparison analysis or the cost.
Okay.
Or, yeah, the problem solution. I believe I just uploaded mine or turned it in.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, there I see yours.
Okay.
Perfect.
I thought we were turning them all in as a package rather than individual turn in things.
Some you could turn in like this, like some you can turn in separate, which is fine.
Okay.
Get the hang of it. Just want to get you the hang of how to maneuver through this stuff using Google Classroom.
And are we going to have our students turn these in just kind of like you've got us turning them in?
Well, when you have access to these documents, so you can use them, but you might have them turn to whatever system works for you with your kids.
Okay.
So if you use Canvas or whatever you use for your school, you can use whatever works for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually download these things and use them if you need them.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, so if any other questions, I'm gonna leave you have an hour to work independently, and you have the rest of the day to fine tune and digest all this information you got today, which was a lot. So on that note, I'm gonna stick around. If you guys need me, I'll be here for a minute, and free to go ahead and do your thing.
Ray, is there a way you could set up a Zoom room? Maybe if Julie wanted to, maybe we could work together.
Yeah.
If she wanted to do that now. If that's possible. She has the time right now. I'm not sure of her schedule.
Let me set up a breakout room.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, sounds good.
Mm-hmm. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set up some breakout rooms, and then you can jump in. Hold up 1 second. Let me stop sharing here. Okay.
So, Ray, other than the deck, are we going to have individual?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought the only thing we need to do is upload the deck.
Yeah.
But I just saw that we also need to upload something in problems and opportunity and value propositions, all those individual documents, the Word document.
It was one that we did that I made an announcement last class. It was that piece where you identify what your problem was going to be. It's actually inside problem and solution.
Okay, so that one, okay.
Yeah, and just upload that one, and then you can.
That one and the deck, okay.
That's it, yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to jump in another room.
Okay, thank you.
Like a good thing. So you're into marketing then. Hey, Ray, how you doing? I can't hear you, Ray. You got your, you're muted right now. There you go.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna let you guys work. You can work. I'm gonna leave my room open. You're free to call me if you need me to jump on in.
How do I do that, Ray, if we wanted you to do that?
You just request some, it should be somewhere on your screen.
The ask for help.
Ask for help, yeah.
It'll be on the toolbar.
Okay, got it. I see it there. Sounds good. Or is that chat still open for everybody too? Is that like an open?
No.
Okay, that's just
Yeah.
that's for the room. Okay. It
Pretty
looks like actually it's still there. Let me see if I can just ping with that, Ray, too, if that works here.
Okay.
Huh. That's different. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see.
One new message.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, Ray. Did you see that there at all, though, or in the chat?
No, I don't.
Okay, said Ray, did you see this?
Oh,
sent
Ray,
it.
did you receive this? Yes.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Okay, so that's another way. So ask for help or that either way then. Okay, so that sounds good.
Perfect.
All right.
And then I'm gonna jump into the next room, but just let me know if you need any help. Okay, I'm back here.
Okay, Ray,
Okay.
we appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Suhas. Hello.